topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good morning, Atlanta. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the top experts in health, legal, financial, and home improvement. First of all, I hope everybody had a wonderful and blessed Christmas. This is going to be the last show in the Atlanta area for Ask the Experts this year, as next week we go into a new year. We want to wish everybody a happy new year. This is a very special show. Ask the Experts does over 90 shows a month. That means 90 different experts a month. And this is the only show, the only expert that I truly use myself. We're going to be talking about stop snoring today. Yeah, all those of you who say you don't snore, well, I was one of you at one time. And then I was put on a CPAP machine. Most uncomfortable way to sleep. I really believe if God meant for us to sleep with a CPAP machine, we would have been born with one. And God sent this wonderful lady who has found a technique that she uses with her patients to get you to stop snoring. Let me welcome you to our expert, one that I endorse solely, and I do mean solely, Janet Bennett. Good morning, Janet.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for that great introduction.
Well, it's pretty obvious. I love talking about this show because I actually have experienced it. If I hadn't experienced myself, I told you I was leery. But it's not some gimmick though. I mean, it makes so much sense what you have discovered. And I'm going to sit back. I almost let Janet do the whole show herself because she is so good at it. And I guess let's start off with the football player.
The football player. Well, first of all, I'm a speech pathologist and I've been in private practice for many, many years. And about 2003, I was in my office treating a 14-year-old football player who had a tongue thrust. I don't know if you know what a tongue thrust is, but it's when a person swallows and their tongue pushes against the back of their teeth, and they might have buck teeth because of that. The tongue has a lot of strong muscles in it, and whatever it pushes on, it's going to move it probably. And so I was training him to swallow in a different way so that his tongue did not touch the back of his teeth. So I have a 7-week program, easy peasy. He came into my office for the third lesson. His mom stuck her head in the door and said, "What are you doing to Adam?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said, "Well, he's always been the loudest snorer in the world. He rattles our windows at home." She said, "But now he's not making a sound." Well, I didn't know anything about snoring. So I was surprised. And so I talked to Adam and I said, "Well, tell me more. What's going on?" And he said, "Well, I have more energy when I wake up. My grades are better because I can concentrate better, and I run faster." Well, that got my attention more than the fact that he'd stopped snoring. I just thought, well, now this is really interesting. Tongue exercises to run faster. Okay. So I got on the computer And I just knew I was going to find that they treated snoring with tongue exercises because it was so easy and it happened so quickly. But no, I didn't find that. I found that this was in 2003 now. So I found that they were doing some horrible things like cutting off part of your uvula, that thing that hangs down in the back. Now, why would that help anything? They also could break your jaw and move it forward so that your airway's bigger. They would also maybe put this big Darth Vader mask on you with the CPAP, which at the time, only 4% of the people who used a CPAP were compliant. Only 4.
Wow.
4%. The other ones, 96%, their CPAPs are in their closets. And I still always think about this, that 96%. They are lost because I bet they did not go back to the sleep doctor because they knew they didn't want to do the CPAP machine anymore.
Right.
And if they've tried some of this other stuff online to stop snoring, they may not have been too productive with that either. So anyway, I hope that you listening or watching out there, if you snore or know someone who snores, it's worth listening to this program. So after I discovered that there wasn't any good good way to stop snoring out there, I immediately thought I needed to save the world. You know, most people would think that, I guess. But anyway, I knew I couldn't save the world by myself. So I thought I needed to make sure, I know it worked with this guy, Adam, but I wanted to make sure that it worked with other people. Okay, so I found 86 people all over the United States, and they agreed to be my guinea pigs. They snored. 11 of them use CPAP machines. Now, I never tell anyone to get off a CPAP. They do what they want to do. And so these 86 people met with me. We didn't have Zoom, via telephone and email. I would email them each program, one each of 7 weeks. And then we talk on the phone to make sure they knew how to do the exercises. Well, after all 86 people had been treated, 94% stopped snoring.
Amazing.
It is amazing. And 3 of those 11 CPAP users went off their CPAP machine.
Yeah, that's what I wondered about that 4%. Did they, it's just, you know, I want to ask you this, Janet, and I want you to tell people how dangerous that snoring um, is, because a lot of people don't think it's any big deal at all.
Right,
They
right.
don't realize. So tell people about that.
Well, I'll tell my old grandpa story again. When I grew up, I spent a lot of time at my granny's house, and way over across the room in the lounge chair was my grandpa who snored. I mean, he sat there every day sleeping, and he was snoring so loud. So we had to put up with that. But we laughed, but we said, "Oh, Grandpa is getting such good sleep." But see, that's the opposite of what is true.
Right.
Now we know that if you're snoring, you are breathing through your mouth, and that's the culprit, because breathing through your mouth gives you cold, dirty air that goes into your body, and that can't help your body rejuvenate itself overnight. Your body's not able to get access to nitric oxide, which is a very important gas that our body makes, and we need it to regulate things in our body. So you can Google that, nitric oxide. Anyway, you can't get that when you mouth breathe. You also cannot get into REM sleep. That's the deep sleep that makes you feel really good. And so you cannot get into REM sleep. Listen to what I'm saying. You cannot get into it. Not sometimes, never, if you are mouth breathing. So someone who's been mouth breathing for 50 or 60 years, they're a tired puppy and don't even realize it. We get used to how we're feeling. We forget what it used to feel like to be energetic when we woke up. So what can happen when a person is snoring and mouth breathing, the longer they snore over the years, They might get louder, their mouth might open wider. Anyway, while they're snoring, what's happening is part of the tongue is blocking the airway. Okay? So you can still breathe, but there you've got that snoring noise. But as they get older and keep snoring, the entire tongue one day, one night, will block that entire airway because everything's resting up. All the muscles are relaxed and gravity grabs that tongue and fills up the airway. And that's when,
Yes.
you're like that, and your significant other who's in bed with you is scared because they know you just stopped breathing and they're wake up, wake up, wake up, And so that's the bad part. That is sleep apnea. And every time that you stop breathing, it hurts your heart. Some people stop breathing 40 to 60 times an hour. Now, picture that, one time a minute to, to stop breathing. So that is what really takes a toll on your heart. So it's dangerous. You have to get on a CPAP machine so that you can get the adequate air, clean air. And so that's why it is so important. But if you think about this, if you have sleep apnea, you probably snore because you're breathing through your mouth.
Right.
Most people who have a mouth open, they're going to make some kind of noise, okay, that you just can't get around it. But if you were all of a sudden to keep your lips closed, do you think you could get sleep apnea? Probably not. Do you think you'd be snoring? We couldn't
Right.
hear you. If your lips are closed, nothing's getting in. You're breathing through your nose and you're getting warm, clean air, and you are able to get in touch with that nitric oxide that's made in your sinuses so it can rejuvenate your body. And you can wake up feeling like $1,000,000. You won't wake up with a dry mouth. You won't wake up with a sore throat that goes away pretty quickly. You won't wake up with a headache that goes away in about 30 minutes. See, people wake up that way, but they're used to it. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean that they have to keep always waking up with a headache and a sore throat and a dry mouth. It can be fixed. You just need to learn how to close your lips. And my program does just that. It trains you how to keep your lips closed and breathe through your nose. Now, if you can't breathe through your nose physically, I mean, like if you have bone spurs or a severely deviated septum or something that's keeping you from breathing through your nose, you need to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor or otolaryngologist and tell them to do something to make you breathe through your nose. I mean, even if it's surgery, if they recommend surgery, I don't see how anyone can say no, because you will never be able to breathe through your nose if they say you need surgery for it. And so you'll keep snoring, and it might turn into sleep apnea, and it's just a vicious cycle. Okay.
Yes.
So that's why you need to learn how to stop snoring, because it'll take care of the sleep apnea also. I mean, it's really a cool program because you treat one thing and everything else just gets fixed. Okay.
Janet, you talked about memory.
I
I got to
did.
tell you
I don't
that
remember. Did I?
with, well, I mean, what you taught me
Mm,
is I am like now I am constantly thinking about my tongue on the upper bridge of my mouth. I never thought about that.
I
Never.
know. I know.
And since I started after 2 weeks of spending about 15 minutes a day, I don't even think I did it every day. I think I did it 4 times a week. I think at first. Well, I didn't know
Shame on you.
how they got all these apparatuses out there
I
and
know.
surgery, and like here comes Janet Bennett with techniques that make so much sense
Right.
that
Well,
no one's ever thought of.
right. And I want to tell the crowd here that what Steve is talking about is one of the major goals of this program is to train your tongue to live on the roof of your mouth. And that way, picture this in your mind when you lay down to sleep. If your tongue is glued on the roof of your mouth, there is no way that it can fall down and block your airway. No way. There's no way that you can breathe through your mouth even if your lips are open. Try it. You can't. You still have to breathe through your nose. So that's one of our goals. The other goal, number 2, is to learn how to breathe through your nose all of the time. So you would learn lip closure. A lot of people who have been mouth breathers all of their lives have, if you go look in the mirror, you might find that your upper lip is short. And it might be just turned up there in the middle. And the reason is because your 2 lips have never had to go together. Okay.
Right.
And it's called insufficient lip closure. All right. And so you'll learn how to do that. It's easy to learn how to do it, and it will change your life. It will change your life, definitely.
Oh,
Some other things that you guys out there listening or watching have is a very large tongue. Um, I think Steve had a pretty large tongue when we started, and he was always biting the sides of his tongue because
yeah.
it got in the way of his teeth. You can't just move your tongue.
Yeah.
You can't move it, but I have invented a tongue stick. Isn't that a great name for this? It's a tongue stick that we use. Tried to think of something else, but couldn't. That we use to make your tongue skinnier. Your tongue is made up of a bunch of muscles, and when you stimulate certain muscles on your tongue, it will make those muscles go like that. It tickles them, and it makes your whole tongue get skinnier. And there's muscle memory in your tongue. So it remembers to stay there after you do the
Yes.
program, after the 7 weeks, and your tongue is staying on the roof of your mouth, you're breathing through your nose. You are going to keep eating and chewing and talking like you always have, but now your tongue is strong and toned, and you're breathing through your nose. You aren't going to start opening your mouth because you will know it immediately. That is not cool. It's not right.
Right.
So it will last a very long time, but there's a little maintenance program. You can do a little few exercises every now and then if you want to, but nothing more than that. Um, let's see. So we've got a large tongue. Oh, and Steve says that he doesn't bite his tongue anymore,
I
right?
know.
I think that kind of proves that your tongue got skinnier, right?
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah,
used to bite my tongue all the time,
right,
Janet, on the
right.
side.
I know. I know.
And since I've started doing these techniques, I have not bitten my tongue one time.
And you haven't moved it anywhere else, right?
No, 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 no.
Okay. All right.
Because when
I
you're
don't
chewing, you don't think about, but what's so amazing about your techniques is your mind. I think about it all the time, especially with my tongue. And now that I don't bite my tongue anymore, I am so grateful for that. I'm not going to stop doing the techniques.
I know. Well, and and the thing is, before you met me, your tongue was weak, okay? It was wide, it was weak,
Yes,
and it was kind of lazy because it had been allowed to just go wherever it wanted to go,
right.
okay? But now after the exercises, it's a new tongue. It's strong and toned, and you continue to use it all the time. So anyway, I think more importantly is you're getting a good night's sleep, right? You're
Yes.
you're
Oh my God, yes.
feeling better. I can't remember some of the other symptoms that you had, but a lot of the
Well, I tried everything, Janet. I tried those strips that go across your nose that they advertise all the time. Did not work for me.
yeah, I know.
I used a dentist's apparatus, which was expensive, and
Mhm,
it just, that's no way to live.
right.
To me, the CPAP was the, I guess, better of bad
Sure.
choices.
Well, that's the
And I
first good
just think
sleep
that,
you'd had in a while when you put that
yeah, and
CPAP
I
on.
guess I get so excited about Janet's techniques is because, first of all, I know they work now, and second of all, they make sense. And I can't, if you are on a CPAP machine, Janet never told me, which I love about her. She never said, this is going to for sure get rid of your snoring. She didn't make any promises at all. A lot of doctors will make promise, oh, this will stop this. She never promised me anything except if I do her techniques and stay on them, I got a good chance of stop snoring.
Right,
And that's
right.
exactly what happened with.
Right, but there was one very important rule that you had to agree to, and that was to do your exercises at least
Yes, you
twice
got
a
to do
day.
the exercises.
Because, see, what happens, I think, whenever a person has to do an exercise of any kind, with your legs or arms, any kind of exercise, lots of times when we do that exercise and we realize, hey, that's easy, I can do that. I'm afraid that a lot of people just don't do it much anymore because they say, well, I can already do that. But when you are forming a new habit, you've got to repeat, 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 repeat. You must exercise twice a day, even if the exercises are easy. Okay, because you're telling your brain to change the way you
Yes.
swallow, the way you breathe, and it's effortless for you. It truly is. The exercises take maybe 10 to 15 minutes 2 times a day. Okay, and I
And you know what else
now
I think is going to happen? I think that also people just, when you see how well this works, don't fall back on doing your exercises. Don't backslide. You still need to do this, even though either got rid of your CPAP machine or you're sleeping better. You got to continue with doing the program. And what helps, Shannon, is you're right there to help them along, especially in the beginning.
right. Right. So what happens is I have a 7-week program online that people can purchase. The reason I met with those 86 people that I told you about earlier was I wanted them to help me word the exercises so that a person just reading about it could understand it.
Right.
And, um, and so that's what I think has really helped the program because it is easy to follow. I have recently added a video to the program when you purchase it online, and that is of me teaching an adult male how to do each exercise. So you don't have to guess at it. You don't have to lean on your own understanding for that. You can actually go there and watch me. You can go to lesson 1, week 1, lesson 2, whatever, and you can see me doing the exercise and you can feel confident that you're doing them correctly. The other thing is that a lot of us just hate exercises. And with this, I mean, tongue exercises, how weird is that? And some people just won't do them even though they know that they should. So I have another video where I am sitting at my desk and I call it my exercise room, and I'm waiting for people to come on in and sit down and I will do the exercises with you. You don't have to bring any written material or a timer. You just follow me. You copy me, and I'll get you through that exercise. Can't get any easier than that. Okay. Um, the other thing is what I'm trying to think of what I forgot what I was going to say, but I just want to point out a few more things that people might relate with that you never associate with mouth breathing or snoring or anything like that. And that is a lot of people sometimes feel like something's stuck in their throat. Okay. And they might have to drink something or cough or clear their throat. And going to the doctor, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, they are going to put that little tube down your nose and they're going to look at your vocal cords and all this area, and they're going to say, I don't see anything. There's nothing here. There's nothing stuck in your throat, but you still have that feeling. They call
Right.
that a globus sensation, which can mean that it is thought that you might have a mental problem. But you don't. You
Wow.
don't have a mental problem about that. Because whenever you don't swallow correctly, and, I was saying how your tongue can push the back of your teeth when you swallow. When you swallow that way, you have a weak swallow. And what that means is when you swallow something, you don't have enough oomph to push that all the way down quickly. And a little particle may indeed get stuck behind. Okay? It's just that when you're in the doctor's chair, it's not showing. So don't think that you are losing your mind. I know that some people have been referred to psychiatrists for that problem. Do not do that. It's not needed. They won't know what you're talking about. But anyway, so this immediately gets rid of that problem because you learn how to swallow better. Okay. Another thing is a lot of people, I just got a phone call yesterday, as a matter of fact, I'll share with you, from a father of a 22-year-old. And he said she's home from college and all she does is cough. She coughs, she clears her throat. She does it all the time. He said, now I've noticed that whenever she is trying to not cough or clear her throat, that she's jutting her jaw out. Oh, see, new behavior starting to form,
Right.
habit. So anyway, he contacted me, found me online, and he contacted me and asked me if I would meet with her. And so indeed, we do have a date to meet in just a couple of days. But I asked him, I said, how long has she been doing that? And he said, oh, about 10 years. What is that all about? 10 years. If there's somebody out there who has this same kind of problem, this program can help you. Very quickly, it can help you. Okay, you just aren't swallowing correctly, and it's a weak swallow. But these exercises will just take care of your problem. Same with throat clearing. Okay, it's the same thing. And I've worked with a lot of people with chronic coughing and chronic throat clearing, and it clears up each time, no question. Another thing, I'm looking at my little cheat sheet here, is you
Got
might
about 2 minutes.
okay, you might have bad dreams, you might have um, uh, messy bedclothes, you might have lots of different things that have to do with
Restless leg.
restless leg. They consider restless leg a symptom of sleep deprivation now. They used to just call it a neurological problem, but if tongue exercises get rid of it, it's not a neurological problem, right? So, shall I tell them how to get in touch with me?
Let's do it.
Okay. So what you do is, first of all, call me. I'll answer your call and I'll answer your email. And it's 828-273-9888, or it's author, AUTHOR, at IJustWantToSleep.com. See, that's the name of the program. You can look that up because that's the way you're feeling right now. You're saying, I just want to sleep.
Right.
The other one for tongue thrust is correctmytonguethrust.com. So you can go to both of those websites, and I've got quite a few videos on there, educational videos, to talk to you about different things you might be doing so you'll understand how in the world learning how to close your mouth could fix that problem. Okay, they're all related.
I want everybody also to know is if you've got maybe your parents or a friend or somebody who snores, it doesn't matter what part of the country they're in.
Right.
Uh, Janet can work with them. And I'll tell you what it's done for me, I'm going to tell you something. If you want a good night's sleep for the first time in a long time, if you are a snorer, this is the program you want to be on. Janet, give everybody the number one more time.
Okay, but first, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee also. The
That's
phone
important.
number is 828-273-9888. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, and Janet will be back with us. This is going to be weird. Janet will be back with us next year.
Okay.
She's with us every month, and we want to wish everyone a happy and healthy new year. And this is a great way to start off with getting Janet's program.
That's right.
Janet, thank you so much.
Thank
You're the
you.
best. I love you, darling.
Thank you.
That is Janet Bennett. She, you know what? All I know is I haven't used my CPAP machine in about a month, and that is amazing. And I am not snoring because when you snore, you might deny it, but I always heard when I snored. It woke me up. Anyhow, that's it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts. Thank you, Rebel. And, and we will see you all again next year. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.